Well, g'day everyone. This is part 4 of the 3Racing Sakura Ultimate Build series. Part 4, we will be continuing with the main chassis assembly, and uh, part 3, with the start of the main chassis assembly, we started off with attaching the um, part of the suspension assembly. And as you can see here, I've gone ahead off camera and built, assembled, did a bit more assembly. As always, as I say, this is just to save on time, um, because it can get a little fiddly, and there are plenty of little, as you can see here, there's plenty of parts. So to get into it, so what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the rear. Now, the front assembly and the rear assembly, with a few minor, there's not really, wouldn't say minor differences, probably just a few little differences, but the assembly is virtually identical to the front. So what we'll do is we'll start off, we need some kingpins, and what we need here is some spacers. They're the pinkish purpley coloured spacers, and we need little pillow balls, and there's already one in here. I did a bit of a test fit. So what we do is we put some the little pillow balls inside. Same with the ones that are already attached to the chassis. Make sure they're facing the right way. Alright, now the next part, what we need is our suspension arms. So what we'll do now is we'll insert the kingpins, put a spacer at each end, put the suspension arm on, same thing again for the right. There, when I was doing the front, I found the front part here was quite awkward to get in. Very tight fit. Alright, so I've already put a little bit of thread lock on here. So now what we do is underneath here there's like the two little pins that they slot onto the chassis. Then you screw it on. Just line up the holes. And this one's definitely going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. I think the machining process isn't as, I guess you could say, as precise as some of your more high-end kits, but I mean, nonetheless, it's still a pretty good kit. I mean, 3Racing, you know, like I've said in a previous video, it's no X-Ray or Yokomo, but when you want to get into racing, so far it's been a pretty good kit. There's been no parts missing so far. Now the suspension arms are really tight, so I may have to do some, guess you could say, modifications off camera. So now what we'll do is we'll attach the bulkhead part. So same procedure as always with metal on metal, little thread lock. Might as well do this one as well. And you have take note of the orientation The markings, there are 3 holes on this side here, 2 holes there, and take note of the grooves. So we'll just put that in, flip it, I seem to be misplacing my tools. You want it in the screws in firmly. Once the thread lock cures, you shouldn't have to worry about tightening screws, but in the event of a hard crash, I recommend just going over everything, because what can happen, you can what they call tweak the chassis, so it wouldn't hurt to just check the screws momentarily. Usually with my RCs, I'll give them a good once over at the end of each racing year. Just preventative maintenance, things like that. Alright, so now what we'll do is, this is the motor mount and the lay shaft assembly. This little part here, is what holds the lay shaft on, which is for the spur gear. So same thing once again, little thread lock, don't need tons, just wipe off the excess. Alright, it fits in a little hole. Careful too when you with metal on metal. Try not to be careful to not cross thread it. Alright, so that's that part of the assembly done. Next part we'll carry on with assembling the lay shaft, and it'll be the transmission assembly, so your lay shaft and your rear gear diff and front spool. So stay tuned for that, which will be in part 5.